We're going to Missouri on this week's
Initial Thoughts. Initial Thoughts. Initial Thoughts.
Welcome back, Best of Trekkers. Today we have the 404 error of an episode, something borrowed, something green. Mike McMahon had previously teased that we would finally see Orion this season. A race that goes all the way back to the cage. And we've never seen their homeworld. Before we get there, though, we're introduced to some Orion lower deckers, and we've got a pretty good idea what's going to happen next. The only difference between them and the Klingons and Romulans is that they come up behind the mystery ship, which I'm still maintaining is the whale probe people from Star Trek IV. In their treasure pile is the second Vulcan Lurpa and Batleth in the same room together of the season. Is this some kind of foreshadowing that we're going to see these two weapons against each other? There's also a TOS-era phaser, a Vulcan loot, and a large emblem medal on a gold chain, which could be somewhat of a callback to the 32nd century Orion-led faction, the Emerald Chain. Orion seems like a fun place, if you like getting stabbed repeatedly in the shoulder, as Mariner finds out the hard way. Though it starts very opulent as you predictably find out Tendi is Orion royalty. And she's got to find her sister, who's been supposedly kidnapped. As is tradition, I'm going to give the first like for Mariner and T'Lyn dressing up in Orion attire. But I swear the first place they go looking for information on Erica, someone in the writer's room said, Orion Beebs. And the rest just followed at this nightclub. I appreciate all the new Orion lore laid out in this episode, including this weird game for information where you have to drink and put up a shield so a critter doesn't mess up your hand. The next location gets a like from me for Mariner calling it a hump dungeon, where we get to see the Orion pheromone thing close up as almost a drug. Mariner also mentions there might be one of these on New Seattle, which is a colony on Panthera 4 from TNG's A Matter of Time. I've got several more likes in this same scene, and the first of many for T'Lyn, as Mariner talks about how hot one of the guys is, and T'Lyn also finds him visually pleasing. T'Lyn is the Vulcan version of Mariner. She's still a cool, calm, and collected Vulcan, but she's crass for her culture. The third like is for Tendi defeating the sea witches Flotsam and Jetsam with science. She had the forethought to make up a spray that makes the men immune to pheromone charm. Devana thinks she's got it figured out, and they go to a ship graveyard she and her sister would play at as kids. And I have another like for T'Lyn, having just what Tendi needs to hear, saying, "You are who you want to be. You are a loyal friend." This is a perfectly Star Trek sentiment. Tendi's sister, though, is something else. She does want all the things she got by Devana passing her title down, but doesn't want all the stuff attached to being the prime and having to marry. It's actually kind of a letdown of an ending to an otherwise fun look at Orion society. Though, it's not the end of the plot, or the end of the likes for T'Lyn, as she just throws the report she was working on about Orion society out the window when Tendi asks her to leave just something small out. If I haven't underscored the point hard enough here, T'Lyn is a super interesting side of Vulcans we're only starting to see now in Strange New Worlds with Spock exploring his humanity. While he's always had a streak of humanity, T'Lyn is more of a to hell with the consequences personality. They get to Erica to her wedding on time, and all is well, except for Mariner's fourth off-screen knife to the shoulder during the daddy-daughter dagger dance. Say that 3 times fast. Oh man, this like counter is looking so spotless after the A-plot. Here's 3 dislikes in total for the B-plot. Boimler and Rutherford have some growing pains as they move in together. Fine, we've seen this in DS9's The Ascent when Jake and Nog move in together, creating some friction. The first dislike here is for the 1890s Mark Twain thing in general. It's a callback to Time's Arrow, but that's it. It's not funny. It tries to go somewhere by tying a minor dispute between Freeman and a Chalnock, first seen in TNG's Allegiance, to it, but it's really not funny or poignant. The second dislike is for Boimler and Rutherford being called to the bridge at all during this. Just because they're freshly promoted, they're not filling bridge positions and they don't have some kind of special understanding about the people of Chalna. My final dislike here is for wrapping up the plot by eating Rutherford and Boimler's bonsai tree little pony out of nowhere. And this is quite likely the worst B-plot in Lower Decks history. The tree itself does seem to be a callback to the time Julian killed Keiko's bonsai tree in the assignment, though. This plot does so little for me, it would have been better to show us more random Orion stuff, but they can't all be winners. If you've enjoyed the content, please consider a like and subscribe below. Join us live this Sunday as we'll be talking more about this episode, the very short Trek Worst Contact, and other Trek topics on the weekly live panel show Buffer Time. Till next week, friends, same Trek time, same Trek channel.